So, um, Dad now's in Kansas. Um, my wife and I had Alex, and who's now 5, uh, and Grace, who was just born. Um, and what do I do? What does God want? And the church gave me the invitation to be the pastor. And I went back to church that night after the church voted. I hadn't said yes yet. And I sat in front of the auditorium in my car, staring at the auditorium, talking to God. My first question was, what about St. Joseph? Because you don't understand what a burden it is on my heart. And God, he spoke to me and said, it'll be done. And I don't necessarily have to be the one to be there on the ground as much as to see it get done, but it can get done. And, okay. But I'm 29. And the Lord said, but that book, which is the authority, is a whole lot older than you are. Granted. And then one of my young men that I really invested a lot in pulled into the parking lot. He's pulled up next to me, rolled his window down, and said, what are you going to do? I guess I'll be the pastor of the church. And God confirmed that in my heart. And became the pastor. Actually, on my birthday, 2004. And it's 2021, so 17 years later. I made a whole lot of mistakes. I have made a lot of blunders. The church is very patient with the young pastor. But God has been amazing. God has been so good. The Lord has really burdened my heart for church planting. We immediately started. We planted a church about an hour east of us. And this past Easter, they had 62 in attendance. And it's on its own, doing well. We saw the organization of that church, and then also it took us more years, harder work, but we planted a church now in Cincinnati area, and Brother Slee is pastoring that work now. It's doing great. We sent out a man to Colorado, who is a church out there in Gunnison, Colorado. Still not quite organized, but running 20, 25. Amazing what God's doing. Gave him a building. Of course, Brother Harris is in Mexico and planting a church there. And that church is ready to be organized. And we just sent another man, Brother Alexander, down to Florida, who's working on planting a church there. In the meantime, we carry on here. I believe we are seeing Judea, Samaria, Jerusalem, of course, and the uttermost parts. And I believe, to the best of my knowledge, we're following the Lord and seeing churches get planted, churches growing. It's changed. And it should, and it's good. And the Lord is blessed in wonderful ways. Got people that love preaching, that are sound in the faith, that know doctrine. We have institute classes. I still preach in a nursing home every week. It's just buses are running. We got through COVID, which is scary. But I sit back now, and as I approach here in just a couple weeks, 17 years being pastor, 46 years of existence. God's been good. And Lord's blessed us now with 3 children. Hope is 12. I know me more than anyone. And I thank God that despite me, He's done something good. And tomorrow, I'll wrap this up by just looking back and thanking the Lord.